I want to make this video about semen retention, PMO, masturbation, and monk mode, whatever you want to call it. I, in my opinion, I think I wouldn't force people to stop watching porn, and I wouldn't force people to watch porn. I think a person should stop watching porn if they have something, important to do, to get focused. But I remember a time when porn wasn't that serious, when it wasn't bad. Like, I remember watching porn, but not excessively. I just remember watching porn a lot. Like, it was my thing. As in, I at least did it once a week, maybe a lot, because at the time I was young, so I had a lot of energy. So maybe when I was younger, I think I did watch a lot of porn, like a lot. But the reason why I can barely remember because I think that when I did watch porn, I would do it every day because I was young, so I was able to go for another round the next day. But now, I know I've gotten excessive with it, but I'm at the point to where now I don't know if it's just an escape or what. But what I want to say is I wouldn't judge those who do watch porn because you have freaky, kinky people. You have people that pierce their skin. You have people that get tattoos everywhere. You have people that do things to their bodies that, if it's not killing them like bloody or, you know what I mean, it shouldn't be bad. But maybe certain people, they just don't like. Do you vibe with everybody regardless if you watch porn or not? You want to be liked by everybody that much that maybe people are going to do things like that because they say it's the attraction and success. But what is success? How you define success? If people do semen retention to be successful, to just have a lot of people look at them and like them, just for them to hear their album or just for them to get views, like, I get it, but you got what you wanted at that one point. Maybe if you got a lot of people viewing your songs or whatever, but you have to really think: are you really being yourself? You know, like I couldn't stop watching porn and just make music about good stuff because, for one, I have to have a mindset where I don't like it. Like, I'm like, oh man, this is, but I spent years on liking it. It's almost like a marriage. How could you hate a significant other if you spent years being with them? You can't hate them. I mean, you literally gave them that much time, so it's like you just probably not liking the fact that they don't agree with you at some point, or they, but you know, there's a certain people that believe in the religious and some people who don't. So there's always this person that does this and people who don't do that. So my honest opinion is just the world just seemed, when people say the world was better in the 80s and how it was in the 90s, notice how they say 80s and 90s. Now maybe 70s, but if you think about it, before, a little bit before then, like 40s and 30s, it may have been good, but not far as what I've seen in school, like growing up hearing about racism. So, but if and think about it, there wasn't a lot of technology, so people were watching a lot of porn, maybe in the 80s and 90s, and having a lot of sex. Think about it, it was different, it was easier. So if those times were better, then how is it, like, I'm not trying to make people go back to their bad habits, but I don't view it as a bad habit. I just view it as whatever you're lacking, you're gonna find a way to fulfill that void. Like, if, like, far as weed, I smoke weed, and maybe it's fulfilling boredom, but, and it does, like, I can sit and do nothing and be like, man, I gotta do something. But if I smoke weed, I can sit and do nothing and just be like, well, it's not that bad. So, and then you don't know who to believe, whether or not there's an afterlife or whether there's this and that. So all you know is what you heard, and you just holding on to that word. You haven't seen it for yourself. And if you've seen it for yourself, you can't really prove anybody that it's true because they haven't seen it. So my only problem is I get it. I know when I know how the depletion feels and the anxiety, but that's just what had the world like more honest. Like it made people feel human. It made them be like, oh, the fact that they got the anxiety. I mean, it's okay. It's like I'm not gonna lie. I'm going. Semen retention is good. Like I think it's good to practice it, far as like for your woman. But porn, I mean, um, I think is the most beautiful thing when I see porn. And if there are so many people vouching for semen retention, what about the people that's vouching for porn? Like fight for what you love. You just got people arguing against your what you like, and you let them win because you see the value. But can you still be confident and watch porn? Can you try? Like, is it impossible? Like, are you scared of the challenge to where you have to? No, no, I'm gonna stay sharp and prepared. Like, I get it. Like, I think true strength comes from when you can be yourself and still be able to. Because I remember watching so much porn and jacking off and just still being confident. Well, not confident as in like talking and social, but still able to get as many women as I wanted. Like, I just remember, not every woman, but I remember. But I think as we age, I think probably I was young, full of cum, so that's probably why. But as we get older, maybe it's less, so we have to do some retention in order to stay afloat. But I really believe that the world was just, it just seemed like the world was better when it wasn't so like, because discipline is good, you know what I mean, and semen retention is good, but I'm only doing it for my wife, just to please her, as in, bitch, we're not gonna have sex for a month just so I can go crazy on you and next and for a week or so, because I don't want to just give my woman like quickies and all the time. That was a fun, but I like to give my woman like I like to tease for a whole month while I'm on semen retention, and then just go crazy on her one night. I learned now that about semen retention, it wasn't just to do it for life. To me, it's just to learn discipline. To like, okay, just learn how to not do it so much, to where you can see why. You can just view yourself as, okay, this is how I was when I did watch porn and masturbate, and this is how it is when I don't. So when you realize how it is when you don't, then you know that, okay, in order to please my wife, I'm going to have to take a few breaks every now and then, and you know, just to give her good love. So I don't believe in semen retention being a bad thing. I really think, or not doing it or watching porn. I think it's because that's how I learned. I had to learn what I wanted. I used it to learn about women, and now I've had moments where I was mad at women, just didn't want to talk to them. But now I'm like, I appreciate them because I don't, they don't really phase me as much. And you have to do some retention in order to reach a certain level in your brain to where you're like, damn, I was tripping over that, just to get away from it. But I done it, and I realized, you know, I would love to have a car. I would love to have a Lamborghini. I would love to do some retention to get a Lamborghini. But guess what? What is that Lamborghini going to attract? Some sexy women, of course, and I'm going to want to fuck them eventually. I can say I don't, but eventually I'm going to want to. And when I do, what, I'm going to lose it all of a sudden? Is that going to make you lose it? Like, is that why some people fall off? They end up having too much sex and then they just, you know what I mean?